Hi people, it's Archivist here. This year on the channel I wanted to start something different, a change from the normal game reviews and top 5s I normally do. This doesn't mean an abandonment of games. I'm fairly confident I'll be playing them and talking about them until I either die or go blind. No, instead it feels like a moment to diversify. And one topic that offers a lot to talk about is morality, and in this video I'd like to talk about what defines it. If you look at the way humans behave, a lot of what we do and say should be traceable back to either a core survival function or the instinct to pass on our genes. Sometimes this is obvious, such as a strong desire to eat on a regular basis, which is of course necessary to not die. But when you have slightly more obscure behaviours, like for example choosing to go to a party, going to a party usually means socialising with other people, and at its core talking and interacting with other people makes us stronger as a group. Humanity has grown strong based on its cooperation, and going to a party represents a microcosm of that idea. You don't literally want to go to a party because you're afraid that if you don't, wolves are going to eat you alone in the snow. Instead, your mind presents the desire to you in a more tangible way. Every species is shaped by these core desires being masked. When I watch my dog drink, I don't think to myself he's drinking because he knows that if he doesn't he'll die. Instead I know he's just drinking because he's thirsty. Thirst being the mask in this case. But when you have those really obscure desires that are particularly tricky to link back to a core instinct, like watching films and TV is a bit of an odd one. How could this possibly be related to our primal instincts when in the grand scheme of things, television is still very young? Well, ultimately it comes down to this idea of vicarious learning. Humans and many animals learn by watching those around them and imitating them. This is especially true of young children who require the instinct to understand language and how to act in social situations. And while vicarious learning is at its most potent early on, it prevails throughout our entire lives. We continue to want to learn about the world around us by observing it. And it just so happens that TV offers the ability to see a great deal with very little effort. Just by sitting in one place, you can see worlds of sci-fi, period dramas and soap operas that allow us to soak up huge amounts of experience and information without even moving. In your everyday life, you tend to watch TV just because you enjoy it, because you're interested. But ultimately this masks an inherent desire for knowledge that has served our species incredibly well. Keeping all this in mind, let me bring you back to what I wanted to talk about, morality. How is morality traced back to these core primal functions? I often find that morality is generically thought of as special. When someone is kind, people like to think it's kindness for the sake of kindness, which is altruism. It makes the act seem more pure rather than motivated by something else. And I think that morality is quite unique, as it has a mask that is sometimes barely visible. You do have examples of where someone is truly selfless, for instance soldiers who have jumped on top of a grenade to protect those around them from the blast but killing themselves for certain in the process. What could motivate someone to act in this way, to be good in the most refined sense? If I was to put it down to anything, it would be this idea of being stronger together rather than as an individual. By acting on behaviours that could be classified as morally good, giving to charity, helping someone who has fallen in the street, you are likely to attract others in a positive sense. People will see you as reliable, helpful and generally nice to be around. Creating this impression will in turn surround the individual with a group of friends. These aren't just people that exist around you but actually care and may even protect you. The end result essentially means that following positively moral actions has made the individual stronger and better able to survive. The only complication in all of this is where do these moral actions come from? Who decides them? Who defines them? How does someone learn that one thing is good and another evil? If we let those around us decide, then it's easy to benefit from the concept of morality. You know for certain what is right because someone else told you, and therefore we will be seen as more attractive to others by acting on those beliefs. If, however, you choose your own morality, decide for yourself what constitutes good, then that certainty fades away because it may not align with others. And so what it comes down to are these two scenarios. The choice of moral freedom to independently decide right from wrong, or the choice of moral alignment to join with those around us in a common understanding. It is my personal belief that society is most healthy when a mix of these two approaches exist. Without some degree of understanding, there would be no unity, and with no unity, there would be anarchy. However, if you totally ignore independent thoughts, then society can never evolve. It would stagnate without the ability to adapt to an ever-changing world. Like most things in life, it comes down to balance.